Lately, I've been really trying to push the limits of the build mode in The Sims 4. For example, I built an entire city underground a little while ago, and that idea got me thinking, what if we tried to build something similar underwater? And what if that something was a castle for a royal mermaid family? So first of all, we are going to be building on the shipwreck lot that comes with The Sims 4 Island Living. This is the world of Sulani, and I feel like it's gonna look extra magical, surrounded by all this water. There's like a hidden cave over here in the background. It's gonna be good, but first of all, we need to start by laying this out, and what I want to do first is grab the basement tool. And okay, while filming this, I discovered there are actually two different ways that you can create an underwater build in The Sims 4. I started this build using method 1, which I'm going to show you right now, but keep in mind this is the more complicated version and I found a much easier way to do it later on. This was just my first initial thought process. I'm drawing a big square with the basement tool, and then I'm going to click anywhere in the middle where I built it, and we're going to remove the ceiling. Now we're left with this big hole in the ground. So next I'm going to page down, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing, just building a room. This time I'm gonna have to page down and click on it and then go back up, and we'll find this little yellow border. We're gonna click that and press remove ceiling. Instead of grabbing it again and deleting the ceiling, next I'm going to grab the hammer tool, and I'm just deleting that flooring in the middle. So now we're 2 levels down, but we're gonna go down one more time. So I'll page all the way down to the second floor this time, grab my basement tool, and we're gonna repeat the same process. It's always so satisfying using the hammer tool to delete the flooring. So now we have 3 levels down underground. The Sims 4 allows you to go 4 levels down. I don't think we're gonna have to go all the way down there today, but we'll see once we add our water. We're not gonna do that yet. We're gonna actually first build our shell. And obviously, if you guys know me, if I'm building something underwater, it's gonna be a mermaid castle. I don't have a pool, so this is as close to playing mermaids as I'm gonna get here, alright? So I'm really just starting by building my shell like I normally would. So I've paged up, I'm gonna do the same thing again, just tracing around. So now all of these rooms below are closed, including the top one, because we've reached the top of the basement levels. So I'm gonna keep going up. This thing is gonna be big. Okay, I think that's good enough for this side. We're 4 stories up. I'm going to continue adding to the build. So what I wanna do is I wanna have these octagonal towers sort of surrounding the build. I guess it's easier for me to just copy the rooms and place them on top of each other. This one here can just be 3 stories. I'll do 4 stories here for this tower. And then for this one here, I want to go up and do 5. I really want to play around with the new stair update. I want all of these buildings to be connected. So I'm just going in and adding a fence to connect all of the buildings. Okay, now our shell is complete. I've got all my fencing done. Our build basically just looks like it fell through the floor right now. So I think it's finally time to add the water. To add the water, we're going to use the custom pool tool. We're going to page all the way down, and we're going to stop at basement level 3. And we're just going to go in sections. I'm just going to trace around my shell, and you need to make sure your pool has area. So once we connect back here, it's going to be green. That means it worked. So we've got our pool ready to go. Now we can carve out this big section here. Just tracing around my shell, I'm going to bring it all the way over like this, and then we'll just connect it back. Perfect. Now we have our walkway all carved out. Let's keep going and get this back part. Carving it out is actually kind of satisfying. So I'll just connect it all the way over like this. And I think we can get this section all in one go. So let me just get to the borders. It's showing red right now, but I don't believe it. I'm gonna keep going and we'll connect it over to that side. And there we go. Now our build is sunken down in water. You can see down below, we have an entire level that's just covered in water, which is fine. We can really lean into it down here. We can still add wallpaper. You can still add windows and everything underwater. So I do still think it'll look cool like that, especially like we're not done with the landscaping and everything. But then I started thinking, what if we tried to do the same thing but with terrain? So first I'm going to test my theory and then we can maybe expand on it. I'm going to take this room tool. I'm going to build a room, and then I'm going to grab the lower terrain tool, and I'm going to lower all of the terrain around this. So basically just building a giant hole. It's going to look like this, and then I need to go and add the water. So next we're going to use the raise water tool. I'm raising the water up to the top, and then I'm going to try and grab this room and lower it. So the room is going to be down there submerged in water. Then I can just grab this room and copy it and place the same room on top. So our build is just going to be peeking out of the water like that. I'll do this one more time. And I mean, it's a little glitchy, but it looks like Sims are going to be able to get down there. We need to make sure Sims can get there. So I'm going to use a flooring piece and I'll attach that onto my room and bring it over the water. Then I would just have to add my stairs. I'll add a door here. We're just going to see if this works roofs first. I'm also gonna just add some ladders for now to see if Sims can get down into these underwater floors. And if they can, we're gonna have to change up our strategy here. Let's just move in a random Sim to test. You look pretty reliable. Oh my gosh, of course it's like the rainiest, most thunderstormy day ever, but that means he's going in on his own, so he can at least get there. Where is he? All right, so he's on the first floor. Let's see if he can get down to the second floor. Oh my gosh, I think it's gonna work. He's coming down. Second floor is functional. That's the one that's like mostly underwater. What if we kept going all the way down? You guys, I think we should do it this way. Okay, let me test one more thing. Can we add windows down here? Yes, we can. Okay, this is great. I don't want to neglect the exterior because I want to be able to see it from like this point of view. We can still add foundation paint down there too. Okay, wait. Okay, so back on our Sulani lot, I've changed everything so that we just have our shell again. Now let's try this on a bigger scale. So again, using my terrain tool, making sure my entire build is surrounded. Okay, that's good. Now we can go and add our water. I'm gonna click anywhere and I'm gonna use this little arrow in the center and we're gonna drag it down. I think I'm gonna sink it to about here because then I can still add roofing where I want to. I can add a walkway here. I'm undecided on which way is cooler. I saved the other version, so maybe I'll make two versions of the same thing. Okay, but anyway, for now, we're gonna start adding windows and everything while it's above ground because I just think it'll be easier. And we also need roofing. So I'm gonna take an octagonal roof piece. I'm covering this tower and I'm using the little balls here to bring it out. I also was thinking it could be really cool if this was a glass building. Because it's gonna be underwater, you're gonna be able to see right in that way. And we might be able to get even more of a sunken look. I don't know. I'm gonna try that and see how it goes. For the roofing here, I'm gonna use a half-hipped roof. I'll add that on and then we'll bring it across. We'll curve it out. I'm adding plain glass roof paint from base game and then I'll just copy and paste the same roofing around this rectangle. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna raise this roofing up so it's closer to the top and then yeah, screw it. Let's really lean into it. I'm using glass wallpaper on this entire thing. And at first I feel like majority of you are not gonna like this decision. I realize this makes it look pretty weird like this, but if you saw my video before where I built an entire house using only glass in the Sims 4, you know this is probably gonna end up looking good. So on all of the corners, I'm gonna go in with these columns from Get Famous. And I'm talking every single corner. Every point is going to get a column. There are so many points with all of these octagons. I just had a completely irrelevant random idea, but when zoomed out, these columns are kind of reminding me of bones. So using this glass wallpaper, I feel like you could try and make like a skeleton house out of it. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Does anyone see what I'm seeing? There's potential there. I just don't know how you would do it yet. Anyway, for the rest of the roofing, I forgot to roof this part, so I'm gonna go in with a life and death fence, and that's just gonna cover that top part. I want to use big bulky trims here, so I'm gonna use this big chunky one from base game. I think I'm just gonna use that one along the bottom floor, and then for the rest I'll use this slightly less chunky looking trim. We are slowly starting to see the vision. Now we need to add windows, and there's a base game event going on right now. What is it called? The Lost Legacies event, and there's like daily quests that you can do to unlock different items. One of them recently was the stained glass window. It looks like this. It is super beautiful and it's kind of perfect for this build because there are different nautical inspired stained glass patterns on the inside. Like this is a seahorse. I really like the ship one. Ooh, the dark one is so pretty too with all the color, but I'm gonna use this one with the ship and there's another white one. This one. I'm gonna use two different variations of this window. And to make this look good, we are going to need a lot of windows. So I'm gonna start by adding them here and maybe every other floor I'll add them too, but I'll change up the swatch. This is obviously not going to be the only window that we use. There are other pretty stained glass windows we can use here too. Like I really like these ones from My Wedding Stories. They have different options. There are colorful ones. I think I might use this color today, but then there are other ones with more like wiring in there, like metal wire details. Maybe we can change it up between this one and this one. And again, I like using a lot of windows in a glass only build because then it kind of looks like our wallpaper. And then in between each window, we can add another column. So we're really only seeing a little bit of glass peeking through. It's also a really fun way to combine different window options. Like I'm adding these ones from base game, just kind of stacking them on top of each other so they look like one window. And then again, I'm gonna go in and add the columns. And I just feel like doing this makes a build look so unique. Like look at that detailing we just added. Of course, we're also gonna need a bunch of doors. These ones on the bottom level aren't gonna be functional because they'll be underground, ground, but I will need one up top here. And I'm also gonna need some connecting here too. For the walkways, I'm using marble flooring from Get Famous. And I have like a million more windows to add here. So I think I'm gonna do the rest of these off camera. And then I'll show you once all the windows and doors are done. Okay, I think all of my windows have been added. But if we're gonna go underwater with this, I feel like we should add a lot of plants on the exterior just to give it that mossy, like overgrown look. So I'm gonna use these from Enchanted by Nature and I'm gonna put them all over the build. I'm gonna go pretty heavy with these, especially on the bottom floor. And this is also gonna help to break up all of the white that's happening. Our plants are coming along. Now I wanna just see if I add anything on this walkway, will it delete if we pull it under? So I'm just adding a random plant for now. I'm grabbing the build and we're gonna pull it under. Oh no, I think it might delete my plants. That is so weird. Okay, well, first of all, some of my plants didn't go along with it, which is fine. I'll just delete the floating ones there, but it's so weird how the one on the walkway stayed, but these ones didn't. Can't be placed in a pond. Okay, well, how come that can be placed in a pond? Very interesting. Oh, and the door is also deleted. No doors, but windows are allowed. I guess that makes sense. If there was a door, that means the entire thing would flood, but whatever. I guess I'm gonna continue furnishing my walkway underwater. Yeah, it seems like any wall decor can't be placed down there, but regular items like plants and stuff are fine, which makes it so weird how we could add windows. Technically, all of this stuff probably would have floated away anyway, so like it doesn't really make sense in the first place to be down there. But if we went by that logic, then like any underwater like mermaid inspired movie or anything, it just wouldn't make sense. If SpongeBob can make it work, then so can we. Also, my plan with this, I really want to try and use the royalty mod for The Sims 4, and I would love to do some kind of royal mermaid gameplay. I haven't downloaded the mod at all or tried anything to do with it though, so if you guys have tried it, let me know if that would be worth it. I am clearly not buying the new pack, but I feel like that would be a fun alternative. So I'm currently just building my walkway. I'm gonna extend it over. I feel like we could even bring this forward a little so it's not so long, and we can drop it down a little bit more. I'm adding stairs here, and we should make this kind of fancy, right? Like I feel like I should add an archway by the stairs. That's from Romantic Garden. If I wanted to, I could even use these to make a little bridge. It might be a little bit much, but I don't know, it could go with the overgrown look. And then for our landscaping, I'm gonna open up debug. We're gonna go bb.show hidden objects and bb.show live edit objects. And I'm gonna use these debug rocks and I'm gonna try and sink them down also into the basement. That way they're just gonna be peeking out a little bit around the edge of my pond. So I'll just keep adding those in different variations going all the way around. Now it's completely covered with all of our rocks. This is so cool. As the final thing, of course, we need to add some fountains. All right, and with all our landscaping, this is how our underwater build turned out. This looks so cool. It's so interesting to look at, especially with the bottom floor. It looks so cool underwater. Every angle I look at it, it's just like so interesting. I tested it out. Everything works the same way as it did when we tried it before, but now I want to compare the two. If I were to go back and try and finish it with the pool idea, how much different would it look? Alright, it's been a minute, but this is the version that I did with the pools, and I did a couple different things. You can see I added waterfalls along the side. I actually layered the pools. So if we go down to like the basement levels, you can see all of these layers of pools. It was honestly really complicated and way more time consuming than the second method that I just did. I had to use stairs to get down here instead. Definitely an interesting way to do it, but I think I'm more content with the other way we did. I just realized I could add some debug items down here as plants. Like I can add coral onto the exterior down here to make it look like it's growing out of the building. Okay, now we're ready to go inside. Okay, so coming inside, if we're going to be building for a royal mermaid, we definitely have to be taking advantage of the new stair update. I have not really gotten to play around with this much yet, but it's a really cool update. So at the top and the bottom of the stairs, you're gonna see these arrows, and you can actually pull those to curve out the staircase. You can do it to both sides, to the top or the bottom. I'm gonna probably do it this way because it looks like a mermaid tail, but you can also hold shift on your keyboard and do one at a time. Like if you wanted just one side to be curved, then you could do that, and then you could like bring it out like this. I've seen people getting really funky with the ways that they use these. The only thing is they take up a ton of room, but they do look really nice when you add the railing. Also, you can now pick which side you want the railing to be on, if at all. Like there's the option to pick just the left or right rail. You can do the double rail, and then you can also use these sliders and that'll pick where you want the railing to be on your stairs. I'm just gonna keep it like this for now, and we can start here. This can be our mermaid inspired living room. The first thing I thought of actually was this from Enchanted by Nature. This is a fairy expansion pack, but I do think we could use a lot of this furniture for a mermaid inspired build as well, especially like these swatches. And like there's these mossy benches. This is perfect. I'm gonna add this by the door. And I also do want to bring in a lot of the plants as well. Like I want this to be a little bit overgrown on the inside too. We are aiming for Royal Mermaid, so I want to use this pedestal from base game, and I'm gonna add that around both of these benches. We're not gonna need to add much art in this build because of the stained glass windows. Like that is an art piece in itself. On these pedestals, we can add some of the sculptures from Island Living. I'm gonna add this rug at the front door from Seasons, and I'm looking through right now trying to find that mermaid statue from Businesses and Hobbies. It's in debug. Okay, here it is. It's pretty big, but we can shrink it down, and there's also this one. I was kind of thinking about adding a fountain in our living room because like why not? It's a mermaid house, but I want to incorporate one of these statues somehow. I think I'm gonna try and use this fountain, and I might add a couple of these. I don't want to add too many, but maybe 2 mermaid statues in the fountain could be cute. And then this around could just be a seating area. I want to add some stone under here. I might add this from Realm of Magic. We can shrink it so the spells are hidden. I feel like we don't need a spellcaster and a mermaid living here, or do we? I'm gonna add a few more chairs around the fountain. I feel like this could be where like meetings take place. Also, this might be the one spot that we can keep for wall decor because in the back here we just have that roofing piece, so there's not really much going on. I feel like we could take advantage of that and add a picture. And like if it's gonna be the one picture we have, I feel like it should be of the Royal Mermaid. So I've just framed it around with some of those plants, and I'm pretty sure we don't have any pictures of royal mermaids that I could add. But The Sims 4 Life and Death has this lasting legacy family portrait, and when you add this, it will automatically add a picture of whoever is in your household. Jump scare. This is my random sim living here right now, but imagine that was a Little Mermaid family. For now, I just found this random mermaid on the gallery. It's Ariel. Ooh, and you can change the portrait outfit too, or randomize the pose. I wish I could make it her in her mermaid form, but there we go. That's our family portrait for now. I'm gonna change that if I do gameplay here, but there we go. Our bathrooms in this build are gonna be a little tricky to navigate. Because I went with the all glass wallpaper, we're gonna have to cover it up a little. So I'm trying to cover any of the glass with plants. We'll have to do the same thing on this side. These could even act as our curtains. And the stained glass is gonna help us out too, because you can't really see through that. And plus, mermaids in The Sims 4 can actually clean themselves in any body of water. So like we're surrounded, they could technically just jump in and sleep there, take a bath. The perks of being a mermaid, I guess. So yeah, this bathroom is just gonna be kind of simple. We just need a toilet and a sink. There's so many windows that I think I should probably add a stand-up mirror instead. So that's our bathroom. And then going downstairs, we've got our living room. Down here, we need to add a dining room and a kitchen. It does bother me that this isn't completely in the center, but there's nothing really I can do about it. We could maybe try and make it look like it is by having everything off center. I think in this room, I'm gonna use these chairs from Get Famous. They match the windows, and then I can add this rug underneath from Enchanted by Nature. I also can't believe the columns remained outside. It really is so weird what things got deleted and what didn't. I am gonna add more of these columns on the interior. Do you think I could get a pool in here? Underwater, and we had a pool. I'm thinking no. Oh my gosh, it works. That makes absolutely no sense at all. But we can just add a little fountain over here. That way this looks more like it's in the center. I hope Sims don't try and swim in here, but knowing them, they probably will. But now we have a little fountain by our dining table. Again, another royal meeting spot. We could add some stone benches in the back here. On there, I could just add other dining room things, like maybe a tea set, maybe some very fancy plates from Jungle Adventure, maybe the VIP bucket. And then on the table, I'm adding these lily lights from City Living. I'm adding a Get Famous couch over here just because. And also, since this part is underwater, I feel like we should change change some of it to blue. I've also added a disco ball before, and that gives off a little bit of an underwater vibe. I am gonna shrink them and I'll probably place it underneath something else because a disco ball doesn't really fit our vibe right now, but we could replace it. Oh my gosh, the jellyfish lights, I forgot, from Adventure Awaits. Okay, we're definitely adding jellyfish. Duh. We're gonna end up making a massive jellyfish themed bedroom. Okay, so here it is at night with the lights. You can sort of see the disco ball reflection there. It doesn't look as much like the water reflection as I hoped, but like how stunning is this? I'm obsessed. I can't wait to play in here. We still need our kitchen, and since we are a royal mermaid family, I feel like that means we would probably hire someone, like a caterer maybe. But the thing is, I really want to include this bar from Enchanted by Nature because look at it, it literally has waterfalls coming down. Again, very much giving mermaid, and especially with the bar back, I think I'm gonna have to use the area that I was gonna use for the kitchen for this because I'm sorry, but there's no way I'm not including the bar back. Ooh, and we should also be adding bubbles. There are bubbles that come with the Sims 4 get together, and this is gonna be the perfect spot to hide them. So I'm gonna put these behind the bar back. They may go upstairs as well, but it's fine. This entire thing is meant to be underwater. When I use these, I like to kind of just keep them out of the way. So then when we go in live mode, you can see the bubbles floating around. It also adds this steamy effect above as well, which I think is just adding to the overall aesthetic. Okay, but we do need a kitchen. So just over on this side, I'm gonna add some blue counters. I want it to be a pretty big kitchen. It's also just going to be inevitable adding things in front of the windows in this build. So I'm gonna add 2 fridges here. I have my matching oven and I'll add my sink. And then we have room here. So I'm just gonna add an island as well. I ended up changing everything over. So we're using Enchanted by Nature counters instead. Okay, cute. And then going back here, there's like a little space. I think I can just use this in here for storage. Like we can just add pantry stuff, extra dishes, food, or anything else they might need. Okay, so our kitchen is all done back here. I'm loving all of the blue. Our bar over to this side is also complete, and I did add another pool in the back here just because the spot under the stairs, like Sims aren't really gonna go there anyway, but it needed a little something going on. And like this build is glowing somehow. Like it looks so ethereal. It's so pretty. I think it might be all of the bubbles that are doing it, but I love it. Okay, let's move on. We need to do some bedrooms. The bedrooms are gonna have to be in the octagon spaces. So I did add a walkway from the main floor over to these 2 buildings. We're gonna need to add stairs so we can access the different floors, and I want these to take up the least amount of room possible. So here's how we can do this. This entire building here can be a bedroom. There are 2 floors in this one, and that way we can completely lock this door. I've added the mermaid sculpture with this Journey to Batu rug underneath. So in this room, we can add some bookshelves. We can add a desk in this corner. Maybe the Sim that lives in this bedroom is really studious, so I'll add a computer. Oh, and from Adventure Awaits, there's also these little jellyfish lights. So I do still want to make this a jellyfish inspired room. So I'm just gonna add these around. I'm just kind of adding them on at the points of the octagon room. And then for seating, Lovestruck does have these like shell inspired chairs. So we could just do a small seating area right here. I want it to be kind of messy in here, like just full of books. So I'm surrounding the chairs with those from the Book Nook kit. And I've also been adding these jars as decor. Maybe this sim is a little bit messier than the other ones. So here's our library. This is still going to be part of our bedroom, but this can be more of a space where you're studying, doing some research, or even homework. Maybe this is a teen room. I did also go in and add the bubbles here too. So again, we have that glow. And then coming down to the bottom floor, we definitely don't have the most room down here, but we do have room for our bed. I added our big jellyfish lamps over to the side. We should definitely include a vanity. So I'll just have that over in the corner. I'll add a dresser over on this side. For a skill item, I could add an easel down here. So there we have our first bedroom all complete. And here it is with the bubbles added with that glow. The stained glass windows are making for such pretty art pieces in this build. But okay, there is section 1. For this building, we can do something similar, except this one is 4 floors. So we're gonna need sets of stairs going up to the other floors too. I've gone ahead and laid out this building, but this one's gonna be a little more complicated than the other one. So starting on the bottom floor, this room is directly across from the other bedroom. So what if we actually had 2 teen mermaids living here? Maybe this one can be a bit more cluttered. We can have clothes scattered on the floor, hair stuff scattered around. This clothing trunk is perfect for a mermaid. And I also want to add this mirror in here from Enchanted by Nature. So I'll add that over here in this corner. A skill I thought of for this mermaid could be singing, so I'll add a microphone. And with a little more clutter added, this is our second teen room in the house. Definitely definitely way more pink, more cluttered with little like clothing items. Maybe this sim is into fashion. And then coming upstairs, we have space here for a bathroom and another bedroom. I have been waiting to use this bassinet from Island Living. It's a tiny ocean themed bassinet and it's so cute. So I'm gonna use two of them, and what if we had mermaid twins? I'm adding this light over top from high school years. The storybook kit would look adorable with this room, and the bathroom clutter kit has these wall decals that we can use as well. We'll add a rug underneath. Then on this side we can add a change table. Up top we'll add some shelving. We can add a toy box in here, and I'm thinking about adding some beds so that we have them for when they enter the toddler stage. So this is what I did for the mermaid twins baby room. I love this area with the bassinets. They have a little dresser in here, a toy box, and a changing table. And then going across the hall, I also finished off a bathroom. This one has a bathtub in here from Enchanted by Nature. We've got the Shell sink from Get Famous. We've got our toilet, and when the time comes, we have two potties. Going upstairs, next, I think we should do a playroom. We can add things in here like toy boxes. We can add a dollhouse. We can add an aquarium since we haven't added one of those yet. And I'm also gonna add a seating area in this one. This can be a spot where the family hangs out with the kids. I can add a TV here, some more toys. So here is our mermaid family playroom. There's tons of room to sit in here, lots of spots to play, tons of toys to play with. I absolutely love the color scheme of this build. And then we have one more room upstairs in this building. I did separate this room off. There's a ladder leading up and a door, so there's privacy. And this is going to be the mermaid parent room. I'm gonna surround this bed with these columns from Get Famous. Over top, I'm going to add these lights from high school years. And I think it would be cool if we had multiple musical sims living here. So I'm adding this piano for My Wedding Stories. We can add a dresser over here. I'm adding stone tables as nightstands. We can add this mini fountain in the corner. And this is also a pretty big room. So I'm adding a seating area. And I'm also adding this curio display from Base Game. This game with the royal event that's going on, and you can add these keys in there. And I don't know, something about this seems important. And here we have our Royal Mermaid parent bedroom. It is so pretty and so dreamy looking in here. I'm obsessed with the stained glass. I can't get enough. I feel like it just made everything in this build look so much better. For the final building, this one is completely underwater and there's no way to really get in there. So I just made this old abandoned greenhouse. There's an apothecary table in here. There are some planters. There's a floral arranging table as well. And I use this archway over here from Romantic Garden as a makeshift door. I also added this ladder room right in the middle of the living room floor, and that is going to lead up to our rooftop pool. That way Sims can actually swim in here. The roof looks like it's completely covered in glass, but it's actually a swimming pool. So that has been us building our underwater mermaid castle in The Sims 4. I love this build. I hope you guys liked it as much as I did. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see gameplay in this video, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.